What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Mark with The Better Mark, and let's get into tonight's short but sweet NBA board. We're going to talk about a three-game slate in the association. All eyes will be on the college basketball ranks. A lot of marquee matchups going down in those games. We see a nice primetime game with Villanova and Connecticut. I'll be firmly watching that game, all right? But I just did a video breakdown of those plays as well. If you go over to my main channel, click that link, check it out for yourself. But let's get into the NBA contest, guys. This is one where we look into three games, right? There's a lot of angles, a lot of analysis. I'm going to give you guys my best bets. And this is one, guys, where it's very important. You do not have to bet every single game. Just because there's three games, don't fall into that trap. You have to bet every single game. Just a little tip out there. Find what you like, ride with it. And if it's just one play or if it's 10 tonight, that's what you have to go with, okay? But let's get into it, guys. And without further ado, let's make sure you guys are all subscribed down below. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers. Really, really great start to the channel, as well as on X, okay? That platform, the handle is in the bottom left of your screen. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways, contests in the near future, so make sure you guys are all firmly subscribed on all fronts. That way that you guys are always in the know, in the loop when I post stuff on the channel. Okay, let's get down to it without further ado. Recapping yesterday's picks, 0-3 in the association. One where I'm not looking to get into too many sides or totals this early on. I'm kind of favoring the prop markets because of this post-All-Star game, just accumulating a lot of data points, okay, seeing where everything is at out of the All-Star break into the third quarter of the NBA season. I like to, from a betting perspective, I like to break the NBA season down into quarters. And this one right here, guys, is the third quarter as we get into the end of the NBA season where things really start to shift post-All-Star break. The reset buttons have been hit for a lot of teams out there. And then we're starting to see a little bit of creeping into the playoffs, that transition into tank mode. It does happen, guys. All right, but that's what we're looking at. And I'm going to break down these three contests tonight. And that quick recap. We went 0-3, like I said. Giannis just edging out that points, rebounds, and assists. In the Minnesota Timberwolves, they really blew that, I think, a 6-point lead at half. I don't know what they were doing in the third quarter, and then almost still winning the game outright in the fourth. So those were my plays, as well as the Cavs having a late scratch inactive with Donovan Mitchell, really screwing up that handicap where the Cavs take on the 76ers on the road, laying that 3.5. I really needed Donovan to play in that contest, but we're going to be laying off the Cavs, all right? That's one where, you know, they have a very strong cover streak, and we're really going to hit the reset button on that handicap and analysis of the Cavaliers because of the fact that Donovan's not healthy yet, dealing with an illness still from All-Star weekend. So let's get down into tonight's plays without further ado, okay? And this is what we're looking at from an NBA card. We have the Orlando Magic laying 7.5 on the road to Detroit, Boston laying 7 on the road in New York, and Minnesota off a back-to-back hosting the Brooklyn Nets, laying 7.5 in that home contest. Okay, so let's get down into it. First play of the evening is the Orlando-Detroit game. Yes, that is a barn burner. But jokes aside, guys, Orlando is a hot team against the spread. 37-19 against the spread. One where you look into the Magic. It's one where it's kind of shocking, right? Paulo Banchero having an outstanding rookie campaign, really jumping off the page on those metrics. And we look into some of the numbers, guys. If he plays 35-plus minutes, just really lighting it up from a points perspective, points and rebound perspective. Those are some angles I'd look to attack from a prop market. But more so in this game, guys, if I had to make a play, which I really don't have an official play in this game, but we will be looking at the under. I really truly like the under 226. That line's probably going to move by the time that you guys get to the window or get on the app, what have you. Just one where you look at the inability of Detroit to score points, and Minnesota, guys, they really have a strong defensive team, and we saw this margin becoming a 12-point win in Detroit last time out, and the Magic winning by 32 the last game in Orlando. So that's kind of where, you know, despite Cade Cunningham, an outstanding player, so on and so forth, the Pistons, they're going to be entering that tank mode, guys, and it's going to get ugly before it gets better. I think this is where you're going to see the wheels really come off this Pistons squad. But no play right now in this matchup. It's one where I would lean towards the under. I would lean towards over Paulo in points and rebounds. I'd even look at, I think it's at 27.5 if you look for points and rebounds, and that point total is at 20 or 21. if you look at that, okay? And also, I'm not really scared to lay the Magic in the spot. 15-4 as a favorite against the spread. When that spread is -9 to -6, they're 4-1. And as a road favorite, guys, 83% clip. They are 5-1. But this is the one that jumps off the page. So if you really wanted to play the Magic within this point spread, it's really one that I'm not going to be opposed to because versus teams that win 45% of their games, the Magic are 13-2 against the spread, hitting at an 86% clip. So kind of more of a stronger lean towards that under in the Magic from a spread perspective. Okay, but let's get into the next play where we're going to look into Boston traveling to Madison Square Garden, playing the New York Knicks. And this is one where, guys, I'm really missing Julius Randle. Got to have him back in the lineup. This could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals game where we really looked for these two ball clubs to show off and showcase their talents at the biggest stage, primetime, Madison Square Garden. Okay. But this is one where, guys, the Celtics are on an outstanding run. We look at some of the metrics, some of the trends. Boston winning 7 straight, 9 out of their last 10. They will not be denied the Eastern Conference. In terms of a seeding perspective, that's at least what it looks like from right now, barring any unforeseen injuries. But we look into some more numbers, guys. Boston -6.5. They are 2-0-1 versus the Knicks on the season series, okay? And what we've seen is, a little bit of an ability of Boston to open up that back door and let teams come in late. We've seen that from time and time again. But Boston, guys, when we look at the actual numbers and what we're seeing, there has been a little bit of a margin, okay? And when there has been a little bit of a margin, we look in the last games that we've seen, Boston out there winning by 17 last night off a back-to-back at Chicago. So now back-to-back on the road game. And blowing out Brooklyn Nets, one of the worst teams, back-to-back. And it's something where, guys, this is, despite this winning streak that we're seeing from the Boston Celtics, this is one where, New York firmly has that back door open, okay? Scrappy team, even more scrappy when they get into that home side of things. But I'm going to be laying the 6.5 within Boston. Okay, I'm not scared to do it. This is something where if you can find it, it's still 6.5 out there in some markets. I'm going to be laying 6.5 with the Boston Celtics. I think this is one where I think the pedigree just stands out. I think this is one where, despite back-to-back, I think the Celtics really get it done on the road. Okay, so we're going to be locking in Boston -6.5. And hopefully they don't let me down like they always do with that late backdoor cover whenever I seem to take the Celtics. And then we're going to get into the third and final game in tonight's NBA slate, where the Minnesota Timberwolves, with a common trend again, basically hosting as a 7.5-point favorite. And this is one where we're going to look at the favorite. Okay, this is one where you see the Minnesota Timberwolves off a back-to-back, and I simply don't care. All right, that is one where they are one of the most undervalued, underrated teams in the association. And yes, they lost a tough one on the game against the Milwaukee Bucks, one that they pretty much had, except for that horrible third quarter performance that they had. And we look at this, guys. This is one where you look at the Nets 0-5-1 against the spread. They are a walking, talking tank job right now. And we talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves 5-6, 5 out of their last 6. They've won by 11 plus points when they've been favored around 8. That's something where I'm not going to deny that metric. So I'm going to take the Minnesota Timberwolves in not so much a back-to-back because, guys, they're coming off an all-star break. They're rested. They're ready to roll. And I think coming off a loss like they experienced last night, Minnesota gets it done at home, winning by 8 points plus. So we're going to be locking that -7.5, hosting the Brooklyn Nets. So that about wraps it up for tonight's NBA contests. And if you guys have any thoughts, feedback, or anything that you guys are on for tonight's games, let me know down below in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And make sure you guys are all subscribed down below on your way out. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to have videos, content, analysis, and breakdowns every single day covering all your favorite sports. Right now, we're just in full swing with basketball, but we're going to open up the door for a lot of other sports that we cover here on The Better Mark. So once again, thanks you all for being part of the team, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Go cash some tickets.